Hello, hello. I'm Lori Alvarez, and I welcome you to Real Estate with Soul, the podcast. This is where I share my story, knowledge, wisdom, and our legacy in real estate together as a family, all boldly wrapped up in one. So let's get started.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. It's that time of year again when you should do some home maintenance. That's just the reality of it. Do I sound like a commercial? Because I feel like a commercial. But the reality is, as a homeowner who keeps a property, or even an investor who buys a property, you need to maintain your property. And I was just reading, crazy to me, I was just reading what the National Association of Realtors gave us for stats just recently. And it was saying, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe this, that there are people out there that currently have buyer's remorse. They are stressed out from the last 12 months of making this home purchase, and they're like, what the heck? I got to repair the property. I got to take care of the property. And so 67% or 2/3 of the homeowners have experienced repair issues with their property. Let me tell you, just to put it in perspective to what we recently got, one of our buyers themselves got called out. They called us because they were worried. They were like, oh my gosh, just bought the house 60 days ago. They were totally aware that they needed a new roof. They had the roof inspection. They had the roofer out there. The roofer did the hard work for them and said, you're going to need a new roof. When should you do it is really up to you. Well, it didn't become up to them anymore because their homeowner's insurance did a visual check of the property and said, new roof now, or we remove your insurance. So remember, guys, when you buy a property, this property is, yes, yours, and yes, you have ownership over it. But as long as you have insurance on it and you have a lender who's involved with a lien, you also have other parties equally invested who have the right to tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing with your property. So the reality of it is you need to take care of a property. You need to maintain it, which means you need to start setting money aside to allocate for repairs. What are those repairs? What should you be concerned with? Well, let's start with the roof. The roof is going to be the first thing you should consider when buying a property, investing in property, and owning a property. Look at your roof. This is when a lot of people go, okay, I need a new roof, and I've been thinking about selling the property. Should I spend $12,000, $14,000, $20,000 on a new roof? Or should I just sell it and let the new buyer take advantage of that challenge? So you need to be prepared as a buyer, homeowner, investor who's invested in real estate. Roofs need to be maintained. Even when you have a roof that's got little, what are those, like tile shingles on them. I'm sorry, the clay tile or concrete tile shingles on them. Those need to be tuned up, taken care of, checked out every couple of years. All that stuff matters. Otherwise, if you don't, you can get slow leaks, you can have slow challenges within wetness in your attic. And if it's slow and steady and you're unaware of it, that can become a very costly mess. So better to do a roof tune-up sooner than later, right? Just have it checked out. And if you're taking care of it in advance, it helps to prevent the emergencies. So gutters are another big thing on properties. And gutters, well, you don't have to have gutters. Gutters make the difference, though. They really give the house a finished look. And if you have them already installed, you do not want them full of debris, trash, and junk, because then they'll just get heavy, and then they'll end up tearing up your eaves or your fascia board and causing damage. So you really want to make sure you clean them out. You have the area maintained. You just double check them, and you have them so they're equally supported on the property, right? Flush them out. Make it just an easy, nice, clean experience, right? Think about gutters on the side of concrete floors, streets, right? The streets have gutters that are clogged up with a bunch of junk. If your house has gutters, it could potentially be clogged up as well. So you want to take care of that. Siding. What is siding? For those of you who don't even know what siding is, that's the stuff you find on the side of your house when you have a wood-like product. Some people may have various types of siding. Even stucco siding as well is on the side of a home, needs to be maintained and taken care of. That siding protects the property, keeps it in great shape. You want to make sure it's sealed and that it keeps mold out of the property, because when your property is exposed, remember, you are allowing the natural elements of the sun and the water and the wind and debris to impact your property. Trees. Have you drove by the home that's just down the street that has the tree that's overbearing the house, and you're like, where's the house in that tree? That is scary to me. I remember when I was, I want to say 9, and we lived in Glendora, and we had this beautiful tree, and a storm came into town, and this tree was right above the driveway of our beautiful Glendora house. And my dad had the coolest little Volkswagen. And when I say little Volkswagen, I say it sure was little when that tree dropped its branch right on its Volkswagen. Yep, smashed. Kapush. Oh my goodness. Make sure trees are thinned out, well maintained, and taken care of. The heavier a tree gets, the more dangerous it is for all parties involved. And the more a tree lays on a property, the more damage it causes to a property right then and there. Trees, flowers, anything is not meant to lay on properties. So you need to make sure you clear those areas, keep them trimmed nicely, and it will be a safer experience and a much more pleasant experience for all parties involved. So then there's the indoors of your property that you've got to take into consideration. Plumbing. You do not want to come home to a water heater that is overflowed your garage like I did from one vacation just recently. My water heater had released and there was water all over my garage. Thankful and grateful that it was in the garage. And yes, we shifted to a tankless water heater. It just made better sense. But imagine if that water heater was in the house. Okay, you want to make sure that you're watching that kind of stuff, including your plumbing, including your toilets. You want to make sure it's the worst when water shows up in your property when you're not around. Could be a very, very big challenge. So make sure you're checking your drains. Make sure things are clearly allowing for drainage to go through. If you have your bathtub slowly backing up while you're taking a shower, you likely have a clog somewhere that needs to be addressed. So have a plumber come out and check it out. Better to know what the challenges are than for it to overflow your house and become an even bigger problem altogether. If you can't afford to fix it, turn it off. Most everyone generally has at least 1.5 bathrooms. I know for the longest time I couldn't afford to do my bathroom remodel, and I had gutted my bathroom, and it stayed gutted for a very long time till I finally finished that bathroom remodel. How long can you live without a bathroom? Right? Water heaters. We talked about it earlier. They have a lifespan of 10 to maybe 15 years. So check your water heaters. Make sure all is well. If they're rusted, that means they're leaking. If they're dirty and corroded, that means there's a problem. So check those water heaters. Ooh, dryer vents. This is a good point, right? I love smelling of laundry. When people walk by, I can smell their laundry and their fabric softener coming out of the dryer vent. You want to make sure, because everything does come out of that dryer vent, that it stays clear so that it's safe, because you do not need something building up in there and that potentially causing a fire issue. So check those dryer vents, make sure they're good. Then there's stove and hood vents. Those should be cleaned regularly. They should maintain a nice clean look. Again, another fire hazard if you're not checking on them. We want to make sure it's recommended every 3 months, right? Refrigerators. Refrigerator coils are critical to cooling down the refrigerator. And if you're not cleaning those coils, I think I might be guilty of that one. You need to. It's recommended that you do that one. Let's see, how often? Oh my goodness. You should probably do that at least twice a year, according to this great article from National Association of Realtors. I love when they do the hard research for us, because we know it's good information, right? So make sure that you're dusting and cleaning those coils, vacuuming that area out so that it's safe. And electrical systems. We talked about this in one of our little YouTube shorts we did. House fires. You could have an electrical short in your house that creates a house fire. I had one client just recently, little outdoor electrical fire started, came right in the house, and they were put out of their house for almost a year while the insurance company did the remodel. So you want to make sure, for sure, that you're checking those plugs. Make sure they're safe. Check those wires. Hey, send an electrician up every once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. Couple $100 for an electrical inspection, as opposed to an electrical fire that could be an even bigger challenge. So you want to check those fuse boxes. You want to make sure that all your electrical looks good and secured. Now, going on to the foundation of a house. How the heck do you check that? Pretty easy. Walk it. Check it out. See what's going on. You'll see it along the bottom of your house. You'll want to make sure that it looks great. If you're on a slab foundation, just walk it with no shoes on. You'll feel the movement. We're in California. We have earthquakes. You need to be prepared for that too. You want to seal those cracks if you get them. They make the difference, right? So you definitely can even have someone out to check it if you needed to. Air conditioning. Who needs air? Everyone wants air conditioning, and the reality is you want to make sure the air quality in your home stays good and clean. So you make sure you check those filters and change them every 60 to 90 days, right? Make sure they're nice and clean. It's even great to have the ducts cleaned every once in a while. And then the unit itself, hey, if you got animals in the backyard, you may want to make sure the exterior of the unit stays nice and clean. It creates and collects a lot of debris. There are so many things that you need to be aware of when buying a home, owning a home. You don't want to take any of it for granted. Be grateful and thankful that you have the opportunity to maintain these properties. Be wise in your finances and keep setting money aside for these big repairs, because home ownership is not made for everyone, but it is made for people who are wise in setting money aside to do repairs and maintain their property.